inspiration to. Then you begin to contemplate how you do that. How do you become like that? And then you go into practice. How do you actually become like that? What are the actual steps of becoming like the people, the people that you just saw from chapter 1? So that's a very broad overview of the 3 chapters. It actually has very, very logical flow. And that's what I always like to use. I like to read Buddha Sutra in a very logical flow, in the sense that it makes people so much easier to understand. Buddha doesn't just talk about sutra just because he wants to talk about this. He wants to talk about these because he wants us to understand. And in order for us to understand, it has to have reason and rationale behind all the things that he spoke, all the things that he taught us. And therefore, it flows a very particular logic in my belief. And this is how I try to organize them, so that I know that when I'm reading this, when I'm chanting this, I know that this is what I am looking at, and this is what I am thinking about. Okay, so that's that part. And we're now going to go into the Sutra of Infinite Meaning, the chapter 3. This is what we're going to talk about today, primarily talking about the 10 merits. So what is inside this chapter? Other than the 10 merits, there's more to it than that. So first of all, this chapter tells you what does this sutra as a whole. So this is chapter 3 already. We have just gone through chapter 1 and 2. Now you're chanting chapter 3. It must tell you, if you do all of this, what are you going to achieve? What are you going to accomplish in this chapter? And that's what the merits actually mean. It tells you what you're going to get, what you're going to accomplish if you follow all the footsteps, all the process, all the things that were taught before this. So it tells you what does this chapter achieve. And now an excerpt from the actual sutra itself. It says, all that have heard this profound, unsurpassed, great vehicle, Sutra of Infinite Meanings, and none have failed. Anyone that have heard this sutra, no one will fail to obtain the 3 parts, the Dharani-doors, the 3 Dharmas, the 4 fruits, or the body, or the Bodhi-mind. So I'm going to focus on this. So it tells you, if you heard this sutra, you just heard chapter 1 and 2, so now 3 is telling you, if you focus, if you have been very focused, if you put your mind to it, listening to what you just heard, this is what you're going to get. 3 things. Dharani-doors, 3 Dharma, 4 fruits, that's 1 part, and the Bodhi-mind. Okay, so what are they? So let me break them down quickly. Dharani-door in Chinese is 陀罗尼门 or 总持门. Okay, it really talks about understanding the Dharma. First, understand the Dharma. Second, do it. That's it. I break it down into knowing and practicing. So once you go through the first chapters, you should be able to know the Dharma and practice the Dharma. 2, the 3 Dharmas and the 4 fruits. What are they? These are the levels and the steps of cultivation. If you understand the levels of arahat, these are the different levels of arahathood, where you can actually gain, becoming more deeper and deeper. But what this is trying to tell you is, it's very important to persevere, because yes, you can know the Dharma. Yes, you can practice the Dharma. But more importantly, how do you persevere? How do you perpetuate? How do you make sure that you don't turn back? How do you make sure you continue? So know the Dharma is very important. Practice the Dharma is very important. But how do you persevere is also very important. 3rd, the Bodhi-mind. After you are able to know the Dharma, practice the Dharma, perpetuate the Dharma, you must also know that it's not stops with you. It doesn't end with you. You need to pass it down. You will continue it by passing this wisdom down. And that's what these 3 parts are talking about. This sutra achieves by you yourself knowing and practicing, by you yourself persevere and perpetuate the knowing and the practicing, and furthermore, pass it down to others. So that's the very first part of this sutra. You come into this sutra on the chapter 3, that's what it tells you. This is what you're going to achieve. Now, knowing that what this sutra can achieve, how can I do this? How can I get to these accomplishments? And chapter 3 tells you how also. This is another excerpt from the sutra, right? This is the disciple asking, where does this sutra come from? Where does it go? And where does it abide? To have such infinite and inconceivable power that it enables sentient beings to readily attain enlightenment. So this statement and the answer actually answers, how do you do this? Okay, so where does it come from? It talks about the past. Where does it go? It talks about the future. Where does it abide? It talks about the present. This is trying to combine time together, right? The past, where does it come from? Where is this teaching, this sutra going to? Where does it abide? That's the present. So it's trying to use the sense of time to explain how do you achieve all the things we just talked about, right? Knowing and practicing, perpetuate and passing it down. How do you do this? By combining the past, the future, and the present. But also understanding where you are right now, that's your present. Where you want to go, that's the objective, and how to get there. It always is these three things. If you look at the Four Noble Truths, it's the same thing. Buddha he's very scientific. Buddha is very scientific in that everything is broken down into steps for you, right? So it talks about all the different time and all the 10 directions, but it's very scientific. It tells you all the steps you need to take, right? The steps of the 52 Bodhisattvas before you can gain final enlightenment. It tells you the steps, breaks down very, very clearly. So is this sutra. This sutra is also telling you where you are, you're in the ordinary being, that's where you're stuck, that's present. Where you want to go, that's Buddhahood, that's Bodhisattva, that's where you want to go. And how do you get there? That's what we're going to talk about. So this sutra, the answer goes, comes from the royal home of all Buddhas. That's where we want to return to. Our objective is to return home, to return to our Buddha nature. That's our goal, right? It goes to where sentient beings develop bodhicitta. That's the bodhi seed. Wherever there is a seed of Bodhi-mind developing, that's where it begins. If anyone develop this aspiration, that's where it begins. So you have the beginning point, and then you have an ending point. The ending point is enlightenment. The beginning point is when you have developed this bodhicitta or the Bodhi-mind, okay? Abides wherever Bodhisattva practice. So wherever, anywhere, anytime you practice the Bodhisattva path, that's when you're moving toward from the beginning to the end, okay? So we start when we begin to develop the bodhicitta. And when every time that we do something on the Bodhisattva path, that's when we're on the way. Where are we going? We're going home. We're going to the home where this sutra came from, which is the home of all Buddhas. We're returning to our Buddha nature. So in very simple sentence, Buddha is telling us where we are, where we want to get there, and how we're going to do that. So how? The answer comes next. How do I start? And what do I do? And that's the 10 merits. So you have the beginning part of chapter 3. It tells you after you read this, you're going to be doing all of this. You're going to be able to know and practice. You're going to be able to perpetuate. And you're going to be able to pass down this knowledge and wisdom to others. And then it tells you, you are here because you already developed this bodhicitta. You already wanted to have this bodhi-mind. You want to learn. That's the first step. You want to end up at where the royal home of all the Buddha is. And how do you do that? Every step of the way, anywhere there's a bodhisattva practice, that's where this sutra will abide in. That's steps. And what are the steps? 10 merits. So Buddha will take you on each step from the first merit to the last merit, from the first step to the last step. So there, I remember, I think it was almost 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when the very first time I come in contact with this sutra, and we were chanting. Someone came to me asking, merits are supposed to be what you get from this sutra. So what does it mean? Did I read this and I will get this? But what is it supposed to mean, right? What do you mean, Joe, now that I'm talking about that these are the steps? And this actually puzzled me for a long time. Merits are supposed to be what you get. So if you recall, the first merit is, you get to do all this, right? If you are a very violent person, you all of a sudden become non-violent, right? So after you chanting this, it becomes like that. But on the other way, if you look at this, so I went on to anywhere online, because this is what all the study and education is done now, right? It's all online. If you go online and you look at any university or any school, you have a course description. In the course description, it would tell you, what does this course enable the students to do, right? It would tell you, okay, after you take this course, you will know this, you will do this, you'll be able to solve problems, you'll be able to do all this, right? And that's what the 10 merits chapter is talking about. It tells you that after you take the course and after you follow the steps, you will be able to do first one, second one, third one, fourth one. And in essence, it's telling you, if you follow step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, you will be able to do merit 1, merit 2, merit 3, merit 4. That's very simple. So what this chapter is doing is it takes you step by step, 10 different steps, 10 different evolution to bring you closer on your path of cultivation. So let us now begin with merit number 1. So merit number 1 is very straightforward. It sets the foundation, what you need to do. Remember, the first step is the first step is you want to return home. The first step is anywhere sentient beings develop this Bodhi-mind. And the development of the Bodhi-mind began with 4 infinite minds and the 6 Paramitas. So the first merit talks about the foundation. These are the things that we need to do. By loving kindness, showing compassion, joy, and equanimity, and then by practicing giving, upholding precepts, forbearance, diligence, and samadhi, wisdom. That's the very first step. That's the ground zero. First step, do this, practice this. That's very simple. The first step is do this. Merit 2, from 1 to infinite. Do the first step, and you will learn, and you will excel to become even better, to realize even more. And this part is from the excerpt from the sutra itself. It says, these teachings which they uphold could not be taught even in countless kalpas. What does that mean? These teachings which they uphold could not be taught even in countless kalpas. It means that all the things that you have gained from merit number 1, by working, by doing the 4 infinite minds, by practicing the 6 paramitas, all these teaching that now that you do, it cannot be taught even in countless kalpas. Why? Because only when you do this on your own would you begin to develop 1 to infinite. These 1 to infinite wisdom cannot be taught by words. I cannot share with you all the things that I learned by practicing, because you cannot learn it. Why? Because you only learn it by doing it yourself. Throughout this experience, you become better. You know this better. You become better at giving. You become better at forbearance. You become better at upholding precept. And the wisdom that you get from within and the experience that you get from within is yours alone. You can share, you can lead other people, you can help other people, but they will only get it when they do this themselves. So that's why all these teachings, even if you are having countless kalpas, countless time, eons of time for you to share, you will run out of words to share before the people listening actually gets it, because they'll only get it when they do it themselves too. So first step is 4 infinite minds, 6 paramitas. Second step is, as you continue to do the first step, you're going to gain more wisdom. And that's what it means from 1 to infinite. All these things are together, they're combined together, okay? So merit number 3, we're moving very quickly. Merit number 3, it talks about the excerpt from the sutra. Although they have afflictions, they carry on as if they have no afflictions. As they face life and death, they have no thoughts of fear. Because if you do all the work, do they now have all the answers? No, they don't. While you're practicing merit number 1 and gaining realization in merit number 2, 1 to infinite, you're still gonna come into problems. You're still gonna have challenges. You're still gonna have afflictions. But because you set your goal to practice, it will be as if you have no afflictions. There was an adverb that talks about the problem is only there if you put your eyes on the problems, but rather you should put your eyes on the goal. Therefore, they still have afflictions. They still have problems affecting you, but you're going to carry on as if you have no problem. For example, there were many, many volunteers worldwide. One's in Africa, one's in, anywhere in Malaysia too, where they are sick on their body, but they will carry on their work as a volunteer as if they have no illness in the body. This is exactly the same because you set your goal there, right? So even if you have this problem, you won't feel that there is a problem stopping you. As they face life and death, they have no thoughts of fear. Why do they not fear? People fear death because it's an end to this life. Especially, Master talks about you fear, you are afraid because you still have things that you haven't accomplished. You still have things that you didn't do yet. But as you are working on, Master taught us that if you seize the moment, every moment, you live your life to the fullest, there is no regret when you go to sleep every night, then even if you don't wake up the next day morning, you just come back because you were prepared. You know your vow, you are prepared. So continue on merit 3. As they face all sentient beings, they give rise to sympathy and compassion. So they are not afraid, but it's very important that there is sympathy and compassion to all the sentient beings. So remember, the first merit talks about the foundation, the things that we need to do. The second merit talks about the infinite wisdom that's going to come from by doing. The third merit tells you that, yes, you're going to face problems, but don't put your eyes on the problem. Keep your eyes on the goal. And remember, while you're doing 1 and 2, remember you're doing this out of the sympathy and compassion for all living beings. And remember, as you face all the phenomena, courage and fortitude to continue. Remember this. So the third chapter, the third merit is talking about continuing 1 and 2. You're going to come into problems, but keep your eyes on the goal. These things are not going to solve your problems, and your problems are not going to go away, but keep your eyes on the goal and be steadfast. Continue. Give of yourselves and be compassionate and sympathize with the suffering beings. Now we move on to merit 4. Every merit has repetition from the previous merit. I'm only bringing out the different parts in each merit. So remember, merit 1 and merit 2, if you read that sutra, it builds on the previous one. It repeats the previous merits, and then it says something different. So I'm only bringing out the difference, okay? So in merit 4, it repeats all the things that was in previous 3 merits, and then it talks about this. All the people that will uphold the sutra, they will have all the Bodhisattvas as their spiritual family. What does that mean? It means that as you accomplish the previous 3 steps, and also holding the teachings, upholding the teaching from chapter 2, everyone will appear as your spiritual family. Everyone will assist in your cultivation. It's going to be difficult, but they're going to be here. Just like, remember, never studying Bodhisattva. People are not helping you, they are scolding you, but you treat them as your spiritual family. You treat them as someone that's going to help you. So all Buddhas will often expound the Dharma to the people that uphold the sutra and practice the first 3 merits. And after hearing this, they'll all be able to accept and uphold. And they will in turn teach to others extensively and subtly, so suitably. And so this is what merit 4 is talking about. As you practice 1 to 3, more people are going to be coming to you. And then they are going to be your friends. They're going to be helping you either by giving you resistance or giving you help. But whichever way it is, they are going to be there to help you. More and more people are going to give you the resources. In Merit 4, also a different idea came out. All Buddhas are the king and this sutra is the queen. Their union gives birth to Bodhisattva, their children. So I think the Buddha and the sutra, there are two sides. That's the principle and the practice, the teaching and the teacher. The union of principles and practice is exactly the path of Bodhisattva. So that's why their union gives birth to Bodhisattvas, their children. So this is exactly what this analogy is talking about. The king and the queen and the prince. The Buddha, the sutra, and the Bodhisattva. That's the actual, not just the teacher, not just the teaching, but the principles and practice put together, okay? So I'm now on Merit 5. Once again, repeats the first 4 merits and add on something new. For the very first time, this is the first mention of Buddha's passing, whether during the Buddha's lifetime or after he enters Nirvana. This is the very first time. The first 4 only talks about yourself. Now this talks about what happened if Buddha is no longer with us, beginning with merit number 5. So 1 through 4 talks about you, talks about your difficulty, talks about people helping you all around you. In number 5, it talks about the time beyond just Buddha, okay? So we are still bound. The people that uphold this are still bound by afflictions, cannot distance themselves from the worldly matter, but they are still able to manifest the great Bodhi-path. This is something that's helping you to give you more confidence, to know that you are on this right path, okay? So they will be able, so this is merit number 5. Also, extending, there's an excerpt here from the sutra. They will be able to extend 1 day into 100 kalpas. So time becomes something that's very flexible. What does that mean? It means that once you are upholding the sutra, once you set your goal, even if you have 1 second, you will be focused on this goal as if you are having 100 kalpas. You'll be focused on this goal as well. So Master always talks about, for Buddhism and for all sentient beings, these 6 characters in Chinese, spoken very shortly, and it was extended for 54 years. So whether it's 1 day or 100 kalpas, you focus your goal, do not change. This is very important. Do not change, because it's the hardest part. On merit number 6, yes, you're still going to have afflictions, but now you can teach the Dharma to sentient beings and free them and end to all their sufferings. And having heard these teachings, they were actually, see, now you have become the teacher. The first 4 and the 5th one tells you, now that the Buddha is no longer here, you now need to assume the responsibility as a teacher. But please do not worry, even if you still have afflictions. You heard these teachings. From what you heard, share to your students, because Buddha is not here anymore. Trust and have confidence, because the sentient beings will practice. They will attain the Dharma no different than if from the Buddha. And I think this is very important. It gives, this sutra gives you so much confidence that if you follow through, you will teach as if you are the Buddha. They will learn as if they learned it from the Buddha. And how do you do that? There's a story here that this can be compared to a prince. The prince is still very young. The king is traveling or ill. And all you need to do is you follow the king's order. Make the same teaching in accordance with the Dharma and you are set. So whatever the Buddha teach, that's what we would do. And that's what Master said, right? Just do it. Master says, do this, then we will do this. You follow the teachings, the steps, you will be fine. So that's number 6. Merit number 7. If you follow the practices, if you follow the teachings, you will get rewarded. What is the reward? The reward is that the students and the disciples will get it. So each step of the way, each merit is leading you and telling you, first by doing it yourself, Next, having confidence, having faith. Next, you need to pass this teaching to others. And also, do not worry if you still have affliction. Remember what your teacher taught you. Continue on this teaching, and you will get there. Okay, so Merit 7 continues on, tell you, if you follow this, you are going to get the reward. The reward is not what you ask for, not wealth, not fame, not power, but you will get the reduction, the elimination of the affliction. These are the things that will reward you. This is not what you seek, but by going through all the previous merits, you are going to reduce, all the enemies will be vanquished. Okay, so now very quickly moving on to merit number 8. So for the very first time, it is now said, if you keep on working with all the previous, even the non-believers will begin to believe you. So if someone previously did not believe in this, you tell them, you teach them, you uphold the sutra, you uphold the precept, they will be taught to learn to believe you, to accept your teachings. So this is something that gives you further confidence. You are no longer just preaching to the choir. You're not just telling the people that agree with you. You are now able to teach to people that don't agree with you and don't believe you. How do you do that? By following the first 7 steps. Okay, so continue on. By the virtue of majestic power of this sutra, there is nothing majestic about the sutra that is the writing. Everything is in your doing. If you follow the first 7 steps in merits, continue on through endless time, transcending the time, you will be able to do this. Merit number 9, how would not only this, but your past karma, the people that are upholding this karma, residual transgressions will all be completely eliminated. This is wonderful. How? How does this get eliminated? It's because you have been working tireless on the previous 8. All the past karmas were already manifested while you were working on this. You have planting all the good seeds here. By this time, all the things have already manifested itself. All the karma had already shown itself. You have planted good seeds, and now all the good things are coming out. So very simply, all the people, the teachers will enter the great door of total retention. Most importantly, they will be able to manifest multiple bodies everywhere. How does that work? This is just like in Tzu Chi. Now we are multiple bodies of Master everywhere in the lands of the 10 directions. Believe me, we are now representing Sangren in all the places. So that means by the time you get to this 9th merit, now many people will follow your footsteps and do this. Just like Master, you have reached there, and all of us disciples, we will do the work of Master. We will love the people that Master loves, okay? So finally, up to merit number 10, even though not a Buddha, but amazingly, all the great vows, the deep ability to save all the sentient beings, this is the final ground. Even though not yet complete enlightened yet, you are now able to transform others. You're able to continue to do this, to help others. And not only that, you're able to help others to help more. You're able to teach others to teach more. And that is what this sutra is talking about. You began as 1 until merit number 10, you're able to give rise to infinity. So accumulate the thick roots of goodness which benefits everything, and spread the Dharma to immerse and greatly moisten what is parched. And in conclusion, enable all the ordinary beings, the very first part from merit number 1, to achieve the fruits of noble beings to merit number 10. If you're able to uphold these steps along the way, you will be able to get there too. But it will take a while, and there are many challenges. You will forever transcend the cycle of life and death, because for you, life and death is just day and night. For you, your goal doesn't change, and you reach a state of freedom and ease. That's why this sutra is called. So finally, we will be able to enable all the sentient beings from unenlightened state to the Bodhisattva path. So merit 1, 2, 3 talks about yourself. 4, 5, 6 talks about how we have to persevere. And then 7 through 10 talks about teaching to other people, because there's more to teach. And you're going to find problems. You're going to have people that don't believe you. You're going to have people that are, smarter than you. How do you do this? Continue. This is what this chapter is talking about. Continue. So finally, last slide, 10 merits. Buddha will take you each step, one step at a time. But he only gave us the roadmap. Master took us one step at a time and are now seeing it. So let us cherish all the opportunity and cherish our teacher and cherish this opportunity to learn and walk the 10 merits. Thank you. That's my sharing. I apologize for going a little bit over, but hopefully now we have seen this. Maybe we have a different perspective on looking at the 10 merits. It no longer just talks about the merits that you get by chanting the sutra, but rather it talks about the 10 steps that we take. So where are you and where are we? That's how we can gauge ourselves. Thank you. That's my sharing. Thank you.
To Hualien Sifu and brothers and sisters around the world. Today, I would like to share my journey. Morning, Hualien Sifu and all the brothers and sisters around the world. My name is Tsae Feng from Puchong, Malaysia. Today, I will given a chance to share my journey in Tzu Chi, in particular charity mission. I'm going to share a case where I be able to witness the progress of this care recipient family, from a care recipient to finally a Tzu Chi member now. As you can see, the cover picture, it was taken in front of Hualien Uphold with my family during our trip in December 2016. Okay, back then in 2016, when I was Jianxi, I was assigned to follow Sister Li to actually follow up on this existing care recipient case of a family from Vijaya Kumar. And they are actually a very small and simple family, and only 4 of them. But when I first taken up this case, I'm just wondering how a person like Brother Vijaya can land with so much of a medical problem. He had, he's a diabetic patient. He had to go for dialysis 3 weeks a day. And he also has a blood pressure problem, having problem with his blood sugar as well. And due to his diabetic problem, he also have a fracture on bones on the hip, where he makes him can't drive and sit out or walking. So, and I find a hard sick for him, for such a good person, and end up with this multiple health issue. So this is basically the normal frequent problem that he said because of his diabetic issue, and he always had a wound on his leg, where it makes him can't really walk properly. And the picture on the center actually is like he managed to find sponsor from Sokso to get a fully motorized wheelchair, and this what really moves him. And just for your information, brother has actually passed away in January 2019. Over the years, when I take up this case, I think for almost 3 to 4 years already. And over all this year, we create a lot of bonding with the family. Apart from the monthly visit where we always went over to their house, with our financial support. We also help them in like certain small to solve some problem on their day-to-day life, like how to say, like brother, like sister Li Ling were actually helping to fetch brother Vijaya to the hospital as early as 5:30 in the morning to hospital Sedang to have his checkup, doctor's appointment. Why we do that is like to try to relieve their financial burden, the taxi fare, stuff like that. So and they have two kids. We also helping them to fetch their two kids to tuition center, where it just like it's on the way where we fetch our daughters to who happen to attend the tuition at the same center. So and I also sometimes helping a sister to complete her sewing project, because she had a problem with don't have any experience. So through all these small little gesture, it's like what we're trying to do is like other than the financial stuff, and we also try to help a small little bit and here there to help them out. In fact, through this small little gesture, and every time they see us, they say thank you and thank you. But to us, it's like it's just a piancing. I mean, to me, it's just a small little thing. We don't do much, but to them, they really put it in their heart. And and then sorry, I forgot one point. Is that we also have one doctor from Chima, Dr. T. He's really kind, and he always drop by to visit the family. When brother is still around the time, it's like he also, Dr. T frequently drop by to give treatment, sometimes help him to do dressing, and with Dr. Steve present, we find we are very comfortable. At least we have a medical doctor in helping brother with his medical problem, while we're trying to do our bit to help on others. For all these years, with the love and care from Tzu Chi brothers sisters, this finally we can see smile again on the face. And this picture was taken actually end of last year. And from what I learned during my involvement in Tzu Chi mission, a charity mission, I see like whatever we trying to do for the care recipient family, we must first put their feeling in front of everything. We must respect their feeling. And then even if small little thing that it may not mean anything to us, it could mean everything to them. And now you can see since Sister Amuda already progressed, and she's able to be on her own financially. So this family is no longer a care recipient since November last year. And Sister Amuda also a donor now, making monthly donation, even small, but this is a way for her to cultivate her own food tian. And she strongly believes in this, and she also actively joined us for our recycling, and she also preparing herself to be a volunteer as well. And actually, she did she has her own way of like pay back to the society, like for instance, end of last year, she actually did a sharing at Jing Gepong. For her experience, to her, although she's a very shy person, but she take the courage to do such a sharing, because to her, this sharing will possibly inspire more people to be a volunteer in a charity mission, and she will think like, with more people in charity mission, definitely there are more people to get help. And she also helped us like last year to do Muruku and to raise funds for our Tzu Chi International School. And she always asks, is there anything that she could help, like probably following us for home visit for other care recipient family, because to her, she can share her experience so that can give courage to the other family to pull through a difficult moment. And she also happy when we all bring other volunteers to visit them. You know, this picture is like we bring the parents and child from the child parent bonding class to visit them. Hopefully we can inspire more people to join our charity mission. And whatever we do over the years actually make me thought of this. Being successful doesn't necessarily make you great, but what makes you great is when you help others to be great. Okay, don't forget lately we are like in this outbreak of COVID, our master calling upon all the disciples to encourage and practice vegetarianism. So I'm going to play a short video, see what Master wishes to say.
现在呢，不能再丢毒啊啦！大家发一点心。现在伫师父的面前，不是人人素食都好，还要家家素食。回家啦，多劝全家素。安尼吃的心安理得。我们生活在人间，那吃是维持生命的健康，维持这社会的祥和，这心安理得。
Finally, I'd like to share this, which I think is very relevant to for one who first trying to adopt a vegetarianism. So as you know, when a change is hard at first, you know, like people like us, those say we are a meat eater, meat lover, you know, to opt to a vegetarian diet, we are like, you know, kind of difficult, you know, stuff like to start, how to start, you know, things like that. But and when we move on, you know, it's kind of getting messier in the middle where we have like a limbo, like what can we eat, what we can't, you know, with all the confusion. It could be due to our lack of knowledge about vegetarian diet and so forth. And here say a lot of people, you know, talking about funny stuff, you know, lack of vitamins, you know, stuff like that. But you know, when we are really at become a vegetarian later on, like you know, like now I'm a vegetarian, I feel great, and you know, we see gorgeous at the end. So and then actually during the last 17 days during our movement control order, I actually able to convince my son, who is still a meat lover, to join us for vegetarian meal. I think he had less than 5 meals with meat. You know, I'm very thankful. And I also promote among my friends and my family to at least, you know, try maybe a meal a day, you know, and at the same time it's a prayer to all beings, you know, so to get over this COVID outbreak, you know. So lastly, I'd like to wish everybody a blessed day ahead. Stay at home with faith that this difficult moment will over very soon. Thank you. This is my today's sharing. Thank you, everyone.
大家早，我是德杰，感恩您的分享哦。实际以慈善起家哦，那师公给上人6个字：为佛教，为众生。那你要度众生，就要先来改变他的环境，那改变了他环境，才能让他来一起做好事哈。那最近的灾难的疫情很严重哈，上人说今世的灾难哈要临头了，警示的觉悟有没有抬头？那现在在3月31号为止哈， 一共有207个国家有这样子的一个病例，那已经有77万的人确诊病例，然后3万多的人已经往生了。所以真的上人在这一次的疫情有两个灵方妙药，那就是要什么戒慎，就是要大忏悔啦，然后斋戒啦。所以希望人人能够还没吃素的赶快要吃素，那自己吃素了才有有说服力，身边家人吃素，那再由扩展到社区，让人人一起来吃素，大家一起来共同来努力。我们现在我们不能够人群就是走路很人群，因为现在这样的疫情，但是我们可以借由这样的科技来鼓励人人吃素、谦素。好，感恩大家，谢谢。